Heroes, villains. That seems to be the topic that never seems to die around here. Are heroes real? Are villains truly the good guys? There's been many takes on this topic. Many who seem to not really want to express how they truly feel. Because the only people who seem to criticize heroes do not want to admit to their true feelings. Who of those are being compared to as heroes? Well, Claudio Dragonheart, for one. But the principal. Many people seem to have issues with the principal, most notably Miss Oseko. Now, I do not have any issues with her, nor do I have any issues with the principal, though I do have to say that they seem to need to work on their reaction time, because waiting for things seems to be a detriment to their goals. And in the end, it does more harm than good, because they wait patiently, but sometimes they wait too long, and they are not prepared for the consequences. Why do you continue to hide your Godzilla threshold there, Oseko? If it's truly as strong as you are claiming to be, then unleash it. Unleash it on Kenshiro and the Blood Trail. Because if you wait too long, it will be too late. Now, I do understand your reasoning, because it seems like this Godzilla can go rogue, can go feral, and turn against you very easily. But how many more people have to suffer? How many people nearly have to be sliced up inside of a wood chipper before you finally unleash your Godzilla? Now, to those who continue to criticize the idea that there are heroes in this world, or more notably, those who seem to have a burning issue with the principal. Now, I've seen the comments made that, where were they when I needed them? Where were they when this certain person needed them? Where were they? And why were they doing this? Why were they doing that? Here's the real question. Why are you waiting for someone else to solve your problems? Look, I get it. Sometimes we do need help, but when the chips are down, sometimes the only person you need to rely on is yourself. And if you have issues with what heroes are doing, then do better than them. But unfortunately, that seems to come with the one thing a lot of people around here seem to be afraid of: putting effort into something. Instead, they want to be the villain because they are lazy. Yes, being a villain is lazy. And why is that? It's because it's much easier for people to hate you than it is to get people to like you. Now, I know people were going to say, oh, I've tried to be a good person. I've tried to be a hero. I've looked up for others, but no one appreciates me. No one says thank you. No one does this. No one does that. Well, here's the thing. A hero shouldn't expect a thank you or appreciation. A hero does what they do because it's the right thing to do. If you are doing the right thing solely because you want people to give you a nice pat on the back and say, good job, hero, then you are going to be sadly disappointed when you don't get that pat on the back. Now, before you go on about, oh, you don't know my story, you don't know my history. Listen, I was born with leukemia. My aunt, she did very horrible things to me as a child. My father was abusive. And my mother committed suicide right in front of me. So, if you want to go down that path of, oh, my life has been horrible, well, welcome to the club. And I am not going around wanting to murder people, wanting to get my revenge on the world that seems to only spit on me. Instead, I just do me. I just do what I feel is necessary for not only myself, but those who I appreciate, those who are around me, those who I care about. I can be a hero to those who love me. I can be a villain to those who hate me. Because villainy and heroism is not as black and white as many people think it is. Those who are a hero in one story will be a villain in someone else's, and vice versa. And sometimes people need to realize that the path of evil isn't permanent. Sometimes you can be redeemed. Redemption is a possibility, and we have seen it multiple times, yet I have seen people out there who continue to play this mindset of, well, I've done a lot of horrible things. That makes me a horrible person. And instead of trying to better themselves, they're just like, well, what's done is done. I ain't going to apologize, and I'm just going to continue to be a piece of shit. Instead of, being a better person, fixing your mistakes, learning from your mistakes. But instead, you continue to make them, and you continue to run into the same problem, and you're wondering like, oh, why does this keep happening to me? Oh, geez, I wonder why. Because you can admit to your problems over and over again. You can admit to your sins until you're blue in the face. But if you're not making the effort, if you're not putting in the time to better yourself, then you have no right to criticize those who are actually trying to do that. You have no right to talk about people when you can't even fix yourself. And I know that will upset a couple of people, but here's the thing. Sometimes, to be a good person, you have to be honest with people. You have to tell them how it is. And let me tell you, a lot of you all need a good slap in the fucking face. Be it by me or Gentleman Gary Simone. But either way, a lot of you all deserve a good ass kicking. Because it seems like you have your heads so far up your ass that shit is clogging your ears. And I know a couple of you all are going to bring up the fact of what I said to Leo a couple of months ago. Did you all not stop and think that it was just me trying to get in Leo's head? Because Leo was on a path of self-destruction. And after our match, Leo had to find himself again. Leo had to come to the realization that if he continues to rely on his anger, then his anger will destroy him. I have no issue with his mother, and I truly believe that Carmen still loves her family. There is still good in Carmen, even if she doesn't believe it herself. But One day, she will see it. Because, like Vin Taylor said, she's a broken vase, but the light still shines through. But there is something she needs to understand. There will always be people who will look to criticize you, who will look to want to ruin your life because they are jealous of what you have. They are jealous of you being happy because they are so miserable. And speaking of miserable, Akira Yukimura seems to always find herself back into the pit of misery. Now, I have no issue with Akira, but one thing I do seem to notice anytime she tries to better herself, when there isn't instant gratification, when there isn't instant results, she seems to believe that all hope is lost. As cliche as it sounds, Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time and patience. Patience. It seems a lot of people like to preach that word, though. And it seems it comes to people who don't have it themselves. For you to preach patience, you must have it yourself. And now to the burning question I'm pretty sure everyone has had since this video started. Yes, I am wearing a Black November t-shirt. And yes, Black November is not dead. Or at least I will not allow it to die. Because I know as soon as that was proclaimed on the DCA Twitter by the Blood Trail that the Black November was dead, I know a few cackling hyenas were like, oh, it's better off like that. You understand? But again, like I said, with those people, they have no right to criticize anyone when they can't even fix themselves. When they can't even try to stop and think about why certain things happened. Why Zach and Malik did the things that they did. No, unfortunately, what these people like to do is come up with conspiracy theories and think people like Malik Brown are part of the Blood Trail, or secretly part of the Blood Trail, that he's the true leader. Oh, that is some deep, crazy conspiracy there. Maybe I should buy you a MAGA hat because of how crazy that sounds. But anyways, like I said, Black November is not dead. Or at least what Black November is supposed to be. Before Zach and Amber lost the plot. I'm going to do what it takes to bring down the Blood Trail. And I know a lot of you are thinking, like, what have you done? We haven't seen you do anything. And that's the problem with people these days, is if they don't see it, they don't believe it. But understand this. Some things are best left in the shadows. Black November's not dead. I refuse to let it die. And before I go, I want to make a proclamation. Zach Stone. A few years ago, I remember coming to a DCA show when I was inspired by you. I heard about your story, heard about your struggles. You motivated me to become a wrestler. You motivated me to follow what Black November stood for. But sadly, Zack, you lost what it meant to be Zack Stone, what it meant to be the ace of destiny. Because you were so hell-bent on holding the Call All Stars and the VW World title. And you seem to understand why Sean doesn't want to give you a shot at the Call All Stars title. Because, like most people in DC, it seems anytime there's an issue, instead of addressing it, instead of trying to, fix their issues and trying to right their wrongs, they go into hiding. And I think after a few months, everything will blow over, or that they can just come back with a new attitude, with a new look, and they'll be like, oh, I don't care what I did, when deep down inside, it still haunts you, no matter how much you try to hide it. Zack Stone, I once wanted to be trained by you, but after watching what you have become, that's no longer my goal. Zack Stone, my goal now is to be better than you. And that will start when I eventually beat you in the ring.